It's my pleasure today to sit down with the 2020 King of Baseballtown, Greg Edge. First off, congratulations on this tremendous honor. What does it mean to you to be named the new King of Baseballtown?
Oh, it's a beautiful honor. It's an honor that don't too many people get to have the opportunity to receive, and it's a true blessing from the man upstairs to be able to be sitting here today and be able to accept this award.
Now, take us back a little bit. Your background is pretty interesting. Going back to the start of your career, what can you share with us about your history prior to signing with the Phillies organization?
Well, I grew up in Sacramento, California, and I'm the baby of 5, and I learned how to start playing ball at an early age, around 5 years old, with my dad, and he used to take me out to the parks and hit balls to me, and I was a pretty good little ball player early on, that they were telling me, and then I got to see and play against older kids to where I could handle myself at an early age, and then I was able to start understanding that I was pretty good. And what the things that I was able to learn against the older kids was that to never be scared to make a mistake and to learn from my mistakes, you know, coming up. And so then from that I went on and started playing at, you know, the Legion ball, and played there. We went to the Legion World Series, and high school ball I was pretty good, and it became a pretty good little ball player, and in that aspect of being able to make all-star teams and state tournament, you know, the all-state teams, and so then I went off to junior college, got drafted at Sacramento City College in the 3rd round with Houston, and at that time then I started getting the scholarships offers, and I had a lot of scholarships offers, and around 40 to 50 at the time, and I just didn't know what I was going to do. And I didn't get the offer on the money that I wanted from Houston, so I went off to Oklahoma University and I played there for 2 years, and then I ran into a little situation where I sold some drugs to an undercover, and at the time when that happened, we were 25-1, number 1 in the country, and so that was a big blow to me, you know, and I was able to get through that, and what happened then, a scout named Doug Gassaway, who was going to take me in the 1st round, and that's what he told me when he came in to sign me, was he stayed with me through my coaches, Ina Seymour and Bill Springman, and that was my head coach, was Ina Seymour at Oklahoma, and Bill Springman was the one who recruited me to Oklahoma. So they stayed with me, and Doug Gassaway came in there and signed me and gave me an opportunity to play pro ball, you know, and gave me $3,000. I didn't get the big money that, you know, I could have got if I didn't make that bad decision that I did. And but, you know, life is life, and I had to learn from it, and that's when I started playing with the Phillies in 1986.
After the Phillies gave you that initial opportunity, you mentioned you came up here, spent parts of a couple of seasons in Reading, and played here in the late 80s. Looking back to that time, do you have a favorite memory from playing in this ballpark?
Oh yeah, no doubt. When we lost here in 86, you know, that was a big thing, you know, because I was moving fast, and we lost Game 7 here in 86 and to the Vermont Reds, and it was playing against Lenny Harris, Joe Oliver, and, you know, some guys that made it to the big leagues back then. And I remember back then the clubhouses was one door apart, so you could hear them in here partying in our same clubhouse, you know, and so that was always a memory that I had, you know, and just the fact that I was here so early in my career, the first year, and that was a big thing for me to be in Double-A at my first year.
You mentioned guys like Lenny Harris and Joe Oliver back from your playing days. Who are some of the teammates that you were closest to, and anybody that you've kept in contact with over the years?
Oh yeah, Ricky Jordan, and a good friend of mine's up there in Virginia right now named Vince Holyfield, that played with me here and back in '88, and get to talk to Chuck McElroy a little bit, and I don't get to talk to him as much as I do Ricky Jordan and Vince Holyfield, but those are a lot of guys that I get to see on a year. Ricky I get to see pretty much every year because I go to the Darren Dalton Foundation thing, and he always invites me up as one of his good friends to be around that atmosphere, and so that I get to see every year. So that's a good thing for me. Keeps me around the game, and being around the big leaguers is a lot of fun because I never got to get to the pinnacle, but just being around the guys is always fun.
You retired from your playing career after the 1992 season, but ended up finding yourself back here working for the Reading Phillies as a member of the clean team, which you have done ever since. What brought you back to Reading? Why did you decide to make this your home?
Well, I had got married here in 1991. I had met a young lady named Carol, and we started staying with her, and when I was back here in '89, I made the decision to start having a family back here with her. And through the course of the next few years, that's where I was at. I lived here, and I never went back. Other than going back in different situations that I went back home. But other than that, I've been here ever since. I've been here over 30-some years, so it felt right for me, to be here, to be around the family that we had, and even though I went through struggles here in Reading, but it was all good struggles. It was struggles that have helped me get to where I'm at today, because me and her are not together anymore. We got a divorce because of some of the stuff that I used to do back then, partying and staying out all night. But we had a good 18-year run. We have 2 kids. I have a daughter named Juanita and a son named Elliot, and I have 5 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. So it's been a true blessing, and I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do nothing. I wouldn't go back on that decision, put it like that. That's a decision that was been a blessing to me.
So you ended up ultimately staying here because of family. Now, you've been working for the Reading Phillies, both as a player and then as a clean team member in the last couple of decades now. Can you tell us a little bit about the importance of your Reading Phillies family?
Yes, it started with Chuck Domino. Got to know Chuck Domino real good when I was playing. He had just became the GM here. When there would only be 200-300 people out in the stands, and he only had 3 people in the office working for him. And then after my little playing days, we've always had a good friendship, and he gave me the opportunity to come back here and work, and I've been here ever since, and it's been a true blessing to be able to be here, because this is part of who I am, through playing ball and working here. It's not the glamorous job. I'm cleaning the ballpark, but it keeps me around the ballpark. It keeps me being able to see the kids coming up. I've seen the Ryan Howards. I've seen the different Jimmy J. Rowe and all of them coming up. So it's always a good thing for me, Like I said, this has been a true blessing just to be around the ballpark every day. I'm here, honestly, I get to see myself on the wall, and so that's a good feeling for me to be able to walk there, because I clean the concourse every day when we got games. So, and it keeps me grounded. It keeps me around the game of baseball, and I love being around here, and I love working here.
Your work obviously keeps you around the game, and so does the work that you've done with youth in the community, coaching baseball. How do you encourage the kids that you work with and spread your love of the game to them?
Well, somebody gave me an opportunity back then and taught me how to do it, and his name was Mr. Blackwell, along with my dad and Jerry Weinstein, and so I've had some good teachers in my playing days. So I know the stuff that I have in my head I want to give back to somebody and to the kids that I'm teaching now, you know, and give them an opportunity to see it as another level, not from just, you know, the dad's level, you know, because a lot of times just the dads are coaching. But me and Michael Spadali, who has an organization in the Berks County Bulls, that's who I coach with, you know. He has 13 years in professional baseball. You know, I have the years that I have in professional baseball. You know, what we do is we give that aspect of it, you know, we give it to where we're teaching from that field and giving back to the kids that, you know, have maybe not get it from that aspect anywhere else, you know. So we're able to help and teach kids on a way that maybe somebody might not be able to, you know, because they're only doing it from a dad's point of view, you know. So it's been a true blessing, you know. You see the light come on in a kid, you know, when they're struggling, and then all of a sudden they get it. That's brings the joy to me, because that's what it's all about, allowing the light to come on. And it's a process. It's not overnight. Every kid is not, you know, the same. So we teach from that aspect where they're at, and then, you know, we teach from here, you know, and try and get them to this level. You know, some kids are a little bit better than the other ones. So, you know, you try and teach from that aspect of it, you know, and help them get better than what they are. So, you know, that's the true blessing, is being able to see the light come on in these kids.
And as we wrap things up, baseball and Baseballtown in particular has been such a huge part of your life. What is it that you say helps or keeps you focused coming back here for all of these years?
Well, I can just say, for me, you know, baseball's always been the biggest part of my life, you know, and being around here and just the feel of being around baseball is what I'm all about. And, you know, to be able to just be at the stadium where I played at, you know, you just don't get it any better than that, you know, because I know people that says Greg, and I haven't seen in 30 years or 30-some years, but they remember me playing here, and they say, man, you was a good shortstop, and I like seeing you play. You know, that's a good feeling for me, you know, because that's something that, as a ball player, you know, that you was striving for, you know, even though I didn't get to the top of the pinnacle, just to hear that now, you know, 35 years later, you know, it's a good feeling just to see that somebody else, you know, seen that I could play, and I was pretty good at it. And so that's what it's all about for me, you know, to be able to be recognized. Just sometimes, you know, it's a good little thing to hear, you know, that I wasn't that bad.
It's Greg Edge, the 2020 King of Baseballtown. Congratulations once again, and thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem.
And a reminder as well that tickets are on sale now for the Baseballtown Winter Caravan. It'll take place on January 21st this year, featuring the King of Baseballtown presentation. We hope to see you there.